I realized my wife was lying when I saw a Lyft charge to home at the exact time she swore she was 10 minutes at CVS. We were living in the suburbs in one of those apartment complexes where everything looks the same. Same beige buildings, same little balconies, same random grills people swear they'll use and never do. You hear the dryer doors slamming in the shared laundry room. You smell someone's detergent in the hallway, and there's always that one neighbor who parks half a mile over the line. Our life was normal, like painfully normal. Work, commutes, groceries, bills, arguing about stupid stuff. Target for one thing, and you come out with a cart. Costco runs where you buy a box of chicken you'll regret later. Netflix at night. We weren't some couple constantly fighting. We weren't some couple doing romantic date nights every week either. Just married, busy, kinda tired. That's why this hit me the way it did. Because nothing about our day-to-day screamed, this is about to explode. The first changes weren't dramatic. She switched teams at work. Same company, different manager, different people. She started coming home later. At first, I didn't think twice about it. New team stuff is real. People stay late to prove themselves. I've done it. She'd come in, kick off her shoes, drop her bag, sit for a minute like her body was still at the office. I'd heat up leftovers, she'd eat, we'd watch something, and that was it. Then she started doing this thing where she'd say she needed to get some air. Not like, let's take a walk together. More like, I'm gonna go out for a bit. Sometimes she'd say she was going to see her friend Megan. I knew Megan, not super well, but I'd met her enough times. So I'm going to Megan's sounded totally normal. What changed was how vague it got. It stopped being, I'll be back around 9. It became, I don't know. Don't be weird about it. Like I was already doing something wrong by asking a normal question. And I told myself, okay, maybe I am being weird. I can be the guy who asks too many questions without realizing how it sounds. I didn't want to be that dude who treats his wife like she's on a curfew. So I backed off. She also started dressing a little differently. Not every day, but more often. Like nicer outfits for regular days. Real perfume instead of whatever she'd throw on before. I even joked once like, okay, look at you. She said, I just felt like it. And that sounded fine. People change. People try. I didn't want to turn everything into a suspicion. And here's the thing. She wasn't doing obvious hiding stuff. She wasn't whispering in the bathroom. She wasn't acting like I couldn't touch her phone. It was more like there was a part of her life I wasn't in anymore, and she didn't feel like she owed me an explanation. It's hard to explain without sounding dramatic, but it felt like living next to someone instead of with them. The CVS night was stupid, like embarrassingly small. After dinner, she goes, I'm gonna run to CVS real quick. I'm out of my moisturizer. 10 minutes. CVS is close. Not walkable for most people because, suburbs, but it's a quick drive. I said, I can go. I need gas anyway. She goes, no, I'll do it. I just need to get out. She left. She was gone maybe 40 minutes. Not 3 hours, not all night. She came back with a CVS bag, tossed it on the counter, started talking about how the store was out of something. It all sounded normal. We went to bed. Next day, I'm in the Chase app because I'm moving money around or paying something. I don't even remember what. I just remember seeing it and my brain kind of stalling for a second. A Lyft charge. And the description said, to home, timestamp lined up exactly with when she was supposedly at CVS. It wasn't a huge amount, like 12 bucks, but it didn't make sense because she had driven her car. That's the part that made my stomach drop. If you drive your car to CVS, you don't take a Lyft to home unless your car isn't with you anymore, unless you weren't at CVS, unless you're saying words so you don't have to say the real thing. I stared at it for a while, trying to talk myself out of it. Maybe she ordered a Lyft for someone else. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she took Lyft for a different reason, and it just happened to be that time. Your brain gets creative when the alternative is too ugly. That night I asked as calmly as I could, like I tried to make it sound casual. "Hey, did you take a Lyft yesterday?" She didn't flinch. She goes, "Yeah, back." I said, "Back from where?" "You drove." She said something like, "I was tired, it was hot, I didn't feel like driving." And she said it in that tone like the conversation was over and I was being annoying. I remember just standing there thinking, that is not an answer. That is a sentence that's shaped like an answer. And this is the part where I'm not proud. I dropped it. Not because I believed her, because I didn't want the next sentence. I didn't want to say, "Okay, so where were you really?" Because I knew what that might turn into. I didn't want to open that door, so I did the dumb thing. I went quiet. I watched. I tried to collect more proof, like that would make it feel less awful. After that, little stuff started popping out because I was finally paying attention. She started asking about my schedule in a weird way. Not like, "What time are you home? Let's do dinner." More like, "You going into the office tomorrow? What time are you leaving? You working late Friday?" Just checking, like she needed to know when the house was empty. She also started doing more errands, pickups, returns. "I need to swing by. I have to run out real quick." Which again, in American suburb life, that's nothing. Everyone's always doing a pickup. Everyone's always returning something to Amazon or Target. It's the perfect cover because no one questions it. Then there was the after-work drinks thing. She'd say her team was going out, and I didn't want to be controlling, so I'd be like, "Cool, have fun." But when she came home, she didn't seem like someone who'd been in a loud bar with coworkers. She wasn't tipsy. She wasn't messy. She was put together, almost refreshed, like she'd had a good night. One time I took out the trash and a receipt was stuck to the bag. I wasn't digging through anything. It was literally just there. It was for a restaurant, a nicer one, and it was clearly two people, two entrees, two glasses of wine, one dessert. Not a big group split, not happy hour apps, a date-looking receipt. I stood there with it in my hand and I remember thinking, okay, so I'm doing this now. I'm the guy holding a receipt like it's evidence in a crime show. What am I doing with my life? And again, this is humiliating. I didn't confront her with it. I took a photo and threw it away like I never saw it, because part of me still wanted to stay in the version of my life where this isn't happening. After that, I started noticing little contradictions, small, dumb stuff. Like she'd say she hadn't seen Megan in a while. Then a few days earlier, she'd said she was at Megan's. Or she'd say she returned something, but the same shopping bag would be sitting untouched in the closet with tags still on. It wasn't like she was terrible at lying. It was more like she got comfortable, like she didn't think she had to keep it perfectly straight because I wasn't pushing. And then the thing that actually broke me wasn't a message, wasn't a lipstick stain, wasn't anything dramatic. It was a valet ticket. She had a gym bag she'd usually dump right into the laundry because it smells. One day she just dropped it by the door and walked into the kitchen talking on the phone. I picked up the bag to move it out of the walkway and something slid out of the side pocket. A valet ticket from a hotel, not some roadside place, a real hotel, the kind you valet at. I just stood there holding it like an idiot. Because you can explain a lot of things if you really want to. You can convince yourself you're overreacting. A valet ticket from a hotel is harder to do that with. I put it back. I didn't march in and wave it in her face. I didn't do the big confrontation. I just sat there for a while and felt stupid. Like genuinely stupid. Because in that moment it hit me that this wasn't a mistake. This was a routine. This was something she'd been living alongside our life like it belonged there. That night after she fell asleep, I went through her phone. I know, it's not noble. I'm not presenting it like some heroic move. I just couldn't keep living in that half-knowing space. And the worst part? The messages weren't even graphic. That would have almost been easier in a weird way because you could just hate it and be done. It was normal stuff. Did you get home okay? Yeah. Miss you. Miss you too. And then a message that made my whole body go cold because it was so casual. Friday after 8, same plan. Same plan. That phrase killed me more than anything. Because same plan means this wasn't one bad night. It wasn't a drunken mistake. It was scheduled. It was built into her week. The next day I went to work like a zombie because what else are you going to do? That part is insane, by the way. Your marriage can be falling apart and you're still answering emails like, sounds good, thanks. That night we were in the kitchen. She was chopping something. I had a mug in my hands that I wasn't even drinking. And I just said, I know. She didn't say, no what? She said, where did you see it? That was it. That was the moment. Because an innocent person doesn't go there first. She went straight to, how much do you know? Not what are you talking about? The conversation wasn't a movie scene. Nobody screamed. Nobody threw a glass. It was weirdly practical, almost like we were discussing a lease issue. She tried a few versions. It wasn't like that. It didn't mean anything. I didn't want to hurt you. Then eventually she said something like, I didn't want you to find out this way. I asked him how long. She said, a few months. I said, how long? And she gave me a number, over 6 months. And this is going to sound harsh, but the main feeling I remember isn't even sadness. It was shame. Not shame like I did something wrong. Shame like, how did I live next to this for so long? How did I sit on the couch watching shows with her, talking about Thanksgiving plans, paying bills together, while she had Friday after 8 with someone else like it was a standing appointment? I left for a couple of days and stayed at a friend's place. I didn't go to family because I couldn't deal with the questions. My friend didn't even do the whole dramatic, I'm here for you, man. He just said, take the couch, put on a game, made coffee, let me be quiet. That helped more than any speech. Then came the gross adult part. Logistics, lease, bank accounts, who keeps what, how to split furniture. That's the part people don't talk about. You can be emotionally wrecked and you're still emailing a landlord about move-out dates. She said she ended it. She said she wanted to try. She said we could fix it. I didn't ask for proof, not because I'm better than that, but because I realized what my life would become if I stayed. I'd become someone who checks, someone who listens for lies, someone who watches the clock. And maybe that's fair in some situations, but I didn't want to live like that. So we separated. Life after isn't some inspirational, I rebuilt myself thing. It's just quiet. You come home and no one asks how your day was. The fridge looks wrong because half the stuff is gone. You go to Trader Joe's and you grab something out of habit because it was her thing. Then you put it back and you feel stupid all over again. I'd turn on Netflix just to have noise in the apartment. Not even watching, just noise so it didn't feel like the walls were too loud. You hear the AC, you hear upstairs footsteps, you hear your own keys. Sometimes she texts about practical stuff, mail, documents, something with the account. I answer short, not as punishment, it's just, I don't know how to talk to someone who lived that double life right next to me, and there isn't some clean ending. I didn't get closure. I didn't get some big apology that fixed anything. The thing that sticks with me isn't even the sex part. It's the casualness, the same plan. The fact that she could come home, look me in the face, and keep the routine going like nothing changed. That's the part that still